And for that, I apologize. Don't worry, one day we'll make it further back the creek to where we don't have to worry about it. But one thing's for certain is this is actually a creek again. Holy smokes. We actually got water back in our creek. Wow. We had a decent rain yesterday, so nature has decided to repair itself, and here we are taking our first step into our creek, baby. Oh, so beautiful. But real quick, I want to show you guys something. So we're going to go ahead and traverse the creek. We are walking across said creek. We're going to come up here very carefully, not fall into the creek. And here we are. Let me show you something real quick. Okay, so obviously you guys can hear the highway pretty drastically because it is literally right over there. But I do want to take the time to highlight this geography because this geography plays a significant role in the formula of finding artifacts. This is a crucial aspect to the formula, and that is flat ground. You see how flat this is? This is essentially just a field. I mean, back in the native days, it would have looked more like this. It would have been wooded and whatnot, but they probably would have cleared some stuff out. So one of the main things you're looking for when you're looking for Native American artifacts is one, flat ground. Why do they sleep on flat ground? Well, just go on to a hill, set up a sleeping bag, and try and sleep on a hill and see how that turns out for you. That's why they slept on flat ground, ladies and gentlemen, because, well, for many reasons, but that is one of the main reasons, is really just comfort. The second aspect, or the second variable to the formula of finding Native American artifacts is right here, ladies and gentlemen. Water. Water, flat land, equals artifacts. To live near a waterway is, well, pretty self-explanatory. Everybody needs water, even animals, the animals that they hunted. So generally, a lot of the times you will find Native American artifacts either in waterways, by creek beds, or you'll find them within the banks on flatland, such as this. You could imagine over 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago, even further beyond, there could have been natives camped right up here, and they could have hunted animals and traversed this creek down here. Pretty cool if you think about it. And while there are no known archaeological sites in this general vicinity, there are certainly many archaeological sites in my general region, my region of Ohio. More particularly, I am in the Southwest Ohio region. So, whoa, I almost fell in the creek. Woo, that was a close one. But without further ado, let's go ahead and traverse this creek back into the woods. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna surface hunt today, guys. Generally, I don't like surface hunting during the fall, but we still have some time before these leaves start falling off. But it's pretty self-explanatory as to why you don't want to surface hunt during the fall, because there's so many damn leaves on the ground, guys, and they can be a huge pain in the butt. A lot of the times, I will mistake certain leaves for points. I'm sure many of you guys, if you artifact hunt, have done the same exact thing. You look down and you say, oh, what is that? Is that a point? Nope, it's just a leaf. Happened to me many of times. So, yeah, what we're gonna do, guys, is we're just gonna walk along here. We're gonna search in these little areas, these little divots, see if there's any flint or anything sticking out from under the bank. because a lot of the times what happens is campsites, if the natives set up campsites, obviously over time that's going to start getting filled in and in and in, and eventually the water erodes away the campsite, and you'll end up seeing firestones coming out of the wall or out of the dirt. You'll see flint flakes coming out of the dirt, and eventually you'll come across the point. But one crucial aspect of erosion is rainfall, which we have not seen a lot of. So this wall pretty much hasn't changed all year. It's basically been like this all year because we've barely gotten any rain for the creek to flood. I think this creek has flooded one time this year. So says a lot about the current climate we have here in Ohio. I gotta say though, this creek filled up pretty dang fast because I was here, I believe 2 days ago. Either 2 days ago or yesterday. I can't remember, during the election. It was the election day. So I believe 2 days ago. And this was all completely empty. You can go back and watch that video. In fact, maybe I might play a rewind of it. That way you get an idea here in this video. But that's what we're working with today. So it's kind of a good thing, because once you get a rainfall, a lot of the materials that you searched through previously will end up getting sifted, and you basically have a whole new palette to work with. So it's exciting for us in regards to looking for fossils or artifacts. Enough talking, let's get looking, because we don't have much time left, guys. Sun is going down soon. Sun is going down very, very soon. I thought this was a fired rock, but it is not. Sometimes you'll find very small or sometimes even bigger chunks of firestone, and a lot of the times they have kind of a red hue to them. This one is not fired, it's just been sitting in the dirt. But that is one variable that you can have into play to know if you're in the right area looking for artifacts. Fired rock stones, or fired stones rather, and flint chips, flint flakes. Those are the two main things you're kind of looking for, guys. If you find those, you are in a good spot. I'm actually around the area where I found my last artifact, which was an Adena knife blade. You can go back and watch that video if you'd so please. And I kind of think I'm just going to look around this little area and see if I can't come across another point. I've come across that same material multiple times, guys. It's a local chert here. At least I believe it is. My geology is not the greatest. I'm not the greatest at identifying materials yet, but that's something that comes with time and practice. So with that being said, I did download a rock identifying app, so maybe I'll bust that out one of these days and see if it doesn't work. I'm kind of skeptical about how the hell they can, I don't know, technology is crazy nowadays. It can do anything, it seems like. So who am I to kid? Let's go ahead and turn you around here. Yep, we got a creek again, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, with water comes new material. Granted, it's not really flowing too heavy, but at least it's something. It's good to see water back in the creek. So, I'm just going to journey back a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing I kind of always do. I'm going to walk back kind of fast, just surface hunt, and then go into the little divots where the water changes course. Once the water changes course, a lot of the time the rock gets built up on the curves. So I like to search those gravel pits. Gravel pits such as this one. See how there's a slight turn right here. And once there's a slight turn and the creek changes direction, a lot of the time the smaller material will get built up into these gravel pits. And these are the places to look, ladies and gentlemen, because that's where a lot of the smaller, lighter stuff like flint gets siphoned into, as well as fossils. I have found many, many fossils doing this. Ironically, in this creek, I have yet to find really... I think I found some nutting stones doing this, looking in these little divots. But that's about it. Cupping stones, nutting stones, pitted stones, whatever you want to call them. They have many synonymous names. Here's a good gravel pit here. All right. The leaves aren't actually too terrible. It kind of looks like someone came back here and like raked them up or something, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think someone came all the way back here just to rake them up. Here you can see, you can just imagine, guys. I always like to come back here and just imagine myself as a native. Honestly, that's kind of what I do back here. Oh, what is this? That is absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I thought it... What is that? Looks like a pizza. Kind of looks like... No, it's nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. There's a big gravel pit right there. Maybe we go check that out. La da dee dee da da da. Woo! I need some new music to listen to, guys. If you guys have any suggestions for music, please drop them down in the comments below. I'm completely open-minded. I listen to all kinds of music, whether it be literally anything, literally any music. I even listen to music in different languages, so I'm very open-minded. If you got some Spanish music you want me to listen to, or some Russian music you want me to listen to, by all means, send it my way. I like listening to it all, baby. So, like I said before, the places I generally like to look when I first come back is underneath the banks like this. You can see a lot of the rocks and stuff gets built up in there as the water builds up, and you'll see a lot of the flint flakes and stuff get thrown back in here, as well as, like I said before, old campsites that they had set up right along the banks will end up getting eroded out over the years, and you might come across the whole campsite if you do this, especially along rivers. Creeks not so much, but rivers, they did like to camp along the riverbanks. So I'm just kind of searching back here, not really seeing anything particular. I do see what seems to be a piece of chert, that same exact chert that knife blade was made out of, guys. It doesn't appear to be a flake or anything. It might be a little flake, I don't know. But that is that same material, guys. Same material. Oh, what is that? What is that? I see a... Oh, that's kind of interesting. It's kind of smoothed down quite a bit. What is that? I don't think this is anything significant. I don't think it's a grinding stone or a hammer stone or anything, but it's super smooth, guys. That is very interesting. Look how smooth it is, like on the bottom side, and it doesn't appear to have any working on it or any facets or anything like that. It looks like someone might have smoothed it down, but I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. It's like a big piece of granite or something. These are what they would make a lot of their gorgets and some banner stones and other things out of. It does kind of, honestly, guys, it does kind of seem like something, but I don't think it is. Just about how smooth it is, it's probably nothing. So I'm gonna leave it back. Look how well it sticks out there. Like, just looking at the gravel pit, you're just like, whoa, what is that? I don't know. I doubt it's anything. I doubt it's anything. But it's not too terribly far from where I found other stuff, so who knows? No, that's nothing. That's nothing. It's not even a hammerstone. A hammerstone would be way more round. And you would see marks on it too. Now that's definitely the same material that I found that blade in. Well, time to hop on in the woods and continue on down. Oh, for fun, since this isn't anything? Guys, there are deer tracks back here. Oh my goodness, there's a big one back here. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have found something. I think we have found something. Let me turn my hand around. My hand's a little wet here. I got my boots soaked a little bit. Oh God, I'm spitting everywhere. I walked up to this next gravel pit. Here, let me just show you. All right, sorry, I'm shaking a little bit, guys. Where'd it go? So like I said, I was looking underneath these, the banks, right? We got new water coming in, so everything kind of got sifted around. I'm looking back through here, right? And look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Oh my goodness. It looks whole too. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh man, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful piece right there. It looks like another knife blade. I've never seen one with a base like that. What the hell? What the hell is going on with that base, you guys? I believe this is a blade. I believe this is a blade of some sort because you can see how they preferred one side. Yeah, this side's more jagged, so this is a very poor, not necessarily poor quality material, but it's not a material that I was really out on the look for. Generally, I'm looking for like a specific material when I'm looking for these things, but really, this thing's shape caught my eye. As soon as I saw the corner right here, I was like, oh yeah, that's gotta be something. My heart went through my ass cheeks when I saw that. Oh man, that is a beauty right there. It's a very, very weird material, guys. I've really never seen them work with a material like this. I've always seen more higher silica material. This doesn't seem like it's very high silica. Let me turn this around, you guys. This thing is absolutely pristine though. I mean, not even a speck of dirt on it. That rainfall really sifted out. New. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy because I just walked back through here literally 2-3 days ago, searched the exact same spots, and like I said, guys, once that water comes through, you got a whole new set of material that you didn't see before. So when water comes through, get out there and look, guys, because there could be something waiting for you. I am ecstatic, guys. I am ecstatic. This spot's turning out to be a honey hole. I'll tell you what. Let me set this down for you guys, so you guys get a better glimpse of this. We're gonna set you down here on this tree, and might not be the best, but it's something. All right. So here we are. That's what we're working with, baby. I really have no idea what exactly this is. I believe it's a knife blade, like I said before, but it could very well be something else. And it looks like it's kind of chipped up here at the top. If you see that, it's kind of got a little tiny chip at the top. It doesn't look very well made. Like, I mean, it looks well made for how old it is, right? I mean, I'm assuming this is at least 1,000 years old. But compared to some other craftsmanship that I've seen, it doesn't appear to be that high quality. It's a pretty low grade piece here. But there's many reasons for that. It could have been made by someone younger, someone that doesn't have as much experience making things. So it could be made by a teenager or an adolescent, whatever. And it could also be made like this because of this material. They might have just needed something quickly. They were in a quick spot and they needed something real quick, so they just made it out of this material. It looks like some sort of local, I really don't know, guys, like a flint or a chert or something. I really don't know what material that is. I mean, it's definitely a flint, but it's not high quality stuff, guys. So let me know in the comments if you have any idea what this material is, or if you have any idea who made this point. I believe this is an Adena point, or an Adena blade, but it could very well be Hopewellian or even Mississippian. I really don't know. But I believe it's an Adena, because that is what's very prevalent around this area. So I dropped it a little bit. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any day we find something is a good day, though, I tell you what. Any day we find something is a good day, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what material it's made out of. I don't care how good it looks. I'm extremely happy with that, especially considering that it's a full-fledged piece. Even my last piece was a full-fledged piece. That's so crazy. That's a lot of the times to find these whole. It's hard to do, guys. I mean, sheesh. I want to keep looking. Do we keep looking, guys? Do we keep looking? Sun's about to be going down here shortly. I'll show you the sky real quick, or you could see it. See, sun's coming down. Oh man, that's a beautiful piece, guys. Oh man, I like the base on it. I've never seen a base like that. Woo, baby, let's go. Oh man, guys, I think we start heading back after this. I don't know. I think with the sun coming down, I'm gonna wash this off a little bit. I think with the sun coming down, we head out of here, though. There you can see the broken tip a little bit. It's kind of got a chunk taken out of it. But nonetheless, I am very happy. On the road again. Oh! Here's a piece of, what is this? Looks like a piece of... I just found that. It looks like almost a piece of... It almost looks like Flint Ridge, but it's actually not even a rock. It's not even flint. It's like a... It's like ceramic or something. Like a piece of a bowl, or... I thought it might have been a bone at first, but it's too smooth to be a bone. I'm not really sure what this is, guys. Let me turn this around. I really have no idea what this thing is, guys. Definitely looks modern. Doesn't look old by any means. I found it sitting right up here on the bank. So, I don't know. I don't know what that is. It looks like a piece of a bowl or something. Doesn't look old though. So, I think we're gonna go ahead and leave it for next time, because I don't know what that is. Should I bring it with me? I'll bring it with me, because I just don't think it's old. It's definitely not old. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I'll bring it with me. We're on the road again. On the road again. Oh God, I can't get up here. Oh! My back, my neck, my back. Hey, that song's funny. Oh, it's a good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good day. Here we are, hiking through the woods, enjoying nature, enjoying life. Being able to touch history with my very own bare hands, and having people, you guys, my friends, being able to come with me on this experience as I hit my head on sticks. Ooh, dodging. This is a good boxing lesson back here, dodging and weaving. But with that being said, guys, I think we're gonna head out of here. I'll get you one more look at this point. Oh, I dropped my flint. Jeez. Oh God, dropping stuff. What'd I do with that piece? Uh-oh. As you can see, how it's getting dark quick. That's why I was like, I'm just gonna head back because it gets dark so quickly nowadays with the... I'm jumping in the creek. Ooh, that was bad. Got my foot wet. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. Once again, you've already seen it a million times already in the video, but you're gonna see it a million more times. Check it out, check it out. Look at it. Enjoy it. Oh, wow. I just noticed something on it. Actually, let me turn this around. So I just noticed right here, you can see the flute on it, where they would have had the stick. They would have split a stick and they would have attached it right here, like so. And they probably used it this way as a knife blade. It's definitely a knife blade. I'm like 99% sure of that. But here you can see the flute right there. See right there, that little indent on it? Yep. You can kind of see it come all the way up to here. Very cool, guys. Like I said, I think this piece right here was either made by one, a younger person who didn't have a ton of experience, or two, they were in a quick fix to make something quickly because they either had a meal ready to go or whatever the case may have been. They needed to make a piece very quickly. So that is what they did. That's why they chose this material. At least that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I love artifact hunting. I love it. I really, really do, you guys. I love making YouTube videos. I love history. I love learning. And I love talking to myself on a video camera. I can't get enough of it, you guys. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that cool stuff. Even if you don't do that, oh well, I'm still going to be doing this. So, until then, though, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace! Well known for its Native American activity thousands and thousands of years ago. All the way up until hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So, we'll see what we can't find today on the water. Imagine, they were hunting these grounds using this firewood, drinking from this. They would have come across this. This is where you will find your artifacts mostly. Either this or farm fields, but today we're searching a creek. And that is what we shall do today. Alright, I have ventured pretty far, probably 2.5, 3 miles down this creek. About as far as I've gone before, and I came across something roughly at probably 0.3, 0.4 miles down there. It wasn't really worth showing off because I'm not 100% sure, and I'll show you what I mean right now. So I found this about, like I said, probably about 0.3 miles. And it's not 100% guaranteed, but I'm like 99% sure it's a fragment of a nutting stone. Yeah. As you can tell, you can see the pits. This would have been of multiple use cases, of course. Some people might argue it's an omak, but I don't really have those in my area. So, not likely that. It's very likely a fragment of a larger nutting stone. You could see where it broke here. Like I said, it's not really entirely worth showing off because it's not, as they say in the artifact world, a rich artifact. It's, you know, it's not very obvious that it has handmade marks on it, but these are very well probably handmade pits from my pitting stone. Now I actually found another one, and I'm gonna give you a scan. I already found it, so it's not unearthing it now. But I'm gonna do a scan for you guys and see if you can't find it, and that way I can show you what I had to do to find this artifact. Let me set that one down there. And when I did find this, I started getting that gut feeling in my stomach where you kind of know you're gonna find something, and here we are. I ended up finding something that's considered more of a rich artifact, as they say in the artifact world. So yeah, let's do a scan. I actually lost it. I set it back down kind of how it was, and I lost it. Oh, okay, so here we go. I'm gonna do a scan here. So see if you can't find it. And what I had to do to find it is I had to flip these rocks. So since that was obviously a cupping stone, I said, okay, I'll probably end up finding another one around, right? So the thing you do is you flip around these stones that look kind of flat. So you flip that one, oh, okay, it's not, you don't see anything. You flip that one, oh, that one looks kind of cool. Yeah. But that's not anything. This is the one, I believe, yes. And here you are. And when you unearth one of these flatter rocks, sometimes you'll come across this, which this is a richer nutting stone. I do believe it's also a fragment from a bigger piece as well, but as you can see, the cup from it, or the pit from it's much deeper, and this is a smaller cupping stone. So pretty cool. That's a little bit of a rundown of kind of what I did to find this. Thought it was pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue onward down these gravel pits and maybe trek another, I don't know, we'll see what we can find. This gets me excited, so hopefully we find something of more significance. I'm really hoping to come across the point, guys. I'm really hoping to come across the point. Let's get back on the road. Oh, I forgot to mention, I don't like showing off this kind of stuff a lot in these videos because this is supposed to be dedicated to Native American stuff, but I figured why not? Some of you guys might get some enjoyment out of it. I did find it. I found this right here. This is a fossil. Some of you might, I forget the phobia for being scared of or having a phobia of a lot of holes. There's a word for it. I'll pop it up on the video. But another thing I'll also pop up on the video is, I forget what this is called, but I'm pretty sure this is a fossil. I don't know exactly what of, some sort of coral or something like that. And I believe it is the Michigan, or the state of Michigan's state fossil or state rock. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'll pull it up. If it starts with a P, it's like Pioski rock or something like that, Pioski stone. I'll pull it up on the video, like I said. But yeah, pretty cool little addition, I guess. Well, we trekked another, I would say probably maybe 0.8, 0.9, just a little below a mile down the creek some more. And I actually found two little things in this little divot right here. A lot of the times in these creeks, if you search where the corners are, that's where a lot of the debris gets picked up, a lot of the lighter debris. So that's a little note for you. A lot of the rock gets built up around here. Granted, a lot of it is not artifacts. The one I found is really, really not rich at all. Let's just put it that way. In fact, I would almost say it's not even a nutting stone, which is what I found two of. That is what I find a lot of. That's probably the most common artifact. I found another one, and I'll let you spot the other one, see if you can't spot it. I've already found it, and I put it back the way that it looks. That way you guys get the benefit of trying to look for it. Again, I had to flip it over, so yeah, keep that in mind. You're looking for flat stones generally, though, and this one was lifted up this way. I found it sticking up, and I found it down there, but it's really, really not rich at all. I mean, that is they tried to maybe start it. I don't even know if that one's worth keeping, honestly. It's really not, but because it could very well not be one. But I figured I'd show it off because that's the name of the game. Sometimes you find stuff, sometimes you don't. Now let's give you a little scan of where this stone is at. So like I said, you just kind of you kind of look around for some flat stones. This one's kind of flat, like, oh, maybe, no, that's not one, right? You look down this way, you look down this way, oh, that one looks flat, right? And sure enough, there you go. That is what you find. That one looks pretty interesting. It looks like almost a paw mark, but it's just a multiple use case. Probably, I don't know if this one's probably a fragment as well, I'd say. I can't really see where it broke. Maybe like right here probably is where it broke. Yeah. Looks like that's where it broke right there, maybe. Yeah. So, probably a fragment of a bigger one as well. That's what you will find most of the time is fragments. You won't really find whole ones a lot. And if you do, they're relatively big. So, that is cupping stone, nutting stone, pitting stone, anvil stone. There's many names for these. But I think we're almost done here today, guys. I might search a little bit longer. See if we don't come across anything. But yeah, I don't even know where that one went. That other one's not really worth it. This one though, this one is pretty. Even this one's not that rich, guys. It really isn't, but it's probably. You see this smile, guys? This is the smile of someone who finds a rich artifact. Like I said, as they say in the archaeological world. Boom, baby. Let's go. Oh, man. That is a beauty. That is a beauty. Look at that. That is just pitch perfect. What they did, I mean, that is definitely man-made. There's many different use cases that people think that they use these for. But I can tell you for one thing, the reason that the hole's on the side is because they use this to kneel down in whatever they were working. Probably some sort of pestilence or something. That's why it's on the side there. But that, my friends, is a relatively rich cupping stone. Now, a lot of the times you will find these with multiple use cases. You'll find them with other holes on the back sometimes. But this one is pretty unique in the case that it's literally one hole. Like, you don't find them a lot like this, honestly. At least I haven't. So, let me know if you guys artifact hunt. Let me know if you found any with one hole in it. It's pretty interesting. And it's like a perfect hole, too. It's not very small, but it's relatively small. So it makes you wonder what the hell they use that for. And this is honestly a relatively rougher rock. It's not as soft as some of the other rocks that they use. Some of the softer sandstones. So maybe they decided, hey, this rock is too rough. I'm not using it anymore. I feel like that's a likely scenario for this. But yeah, pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. I'd say it's a pretty neat little find. It's gonna be a pain to walk back. Seems kind of heavy. But that, my friends, was worth it. That's worth it. That's going in the collection. Alright, let this serve as a reminder, guys, when you are artifact hunting, always look again and again in the same spots if you think there are artifacts there, because you certainly will have missed some. Because that's what I did right now. Oh man, it's freaking hot out here. This is cupping stone galore. It's worth it. The heat's worth it finding them, but I just want to point so bad. Let's show you this cupping stone. It's still cool, so Yeah, let's show you this cupping stone. I thought that was one, but it is not. And you'd think that would be it. I thought that was one, but it was not. You'd think that would be one. I thought that was one, but it was not. And you'd think it would be one. I thought this was one. And sure as hell it was, baby. It was. Ooh, yeah, baby. Ooh. Ooh. Pretty neat one, guys. Pretty neat one. It's another singular hole, interestingly enough. And this one, you can tell that this rock is softer. Like, you can just kind of tell if you scratch it, it's softer. So they probably opted to use this. Who knows, maybe that other one, we found, because it's not too far from here, was the same guy or same gal, and they used this one later. That would be funny. But, oh wow, you can actually even see, that's pretty cool. You can see where they, so what they do to start these holes is they pluck it out with another stone, and then they'd get it started and then use something else to probably rotate the hole larger. But you can see where they plucked it. They tried to pluck it, at least I'm assuming that's what that is. This hole is super deep, guys. I mean, holy, it's a very deep hole. They probably used that to pestle something, I would imagine. And same case, I bet they put it, not really the same case with the knee, honestly. They probably sat there with in a different position for that, but that hole is pretty cool, and the fact that it's so deep is really cool. It's a pretty neat little find, guys. It's heavy as hell, again, but hey, I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Another cupping stone galore. With no points yet, baby, but we'll get there. This time of year, so it's going to be pretty difficult. Luckily, we still have a couple, maybe weeks. Yeah, probably a couple more weeks of a little bit of chance of finding something, just because of how many leaves are in the gravel pit. But up here there are less leaves. I will show you that as we traverse this. But without further ado, let's take our first step into said gravel pit. Don't mind my hairdo, because the hood is coming up, baby. So you can't even see it in the first place. But gotta find an opening down here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Little opening. Oh. See, it's not too terrible. There's really not too many leaves. It does make it significantly more difficult. This is by far the worst time of year to do surface hunting. By far, bar none. But, like I said, we still have, I think, a couple of weeks before the rest of these leaves start falling down. So, why not try and find something while we can? I got my big old worn out boots. These they fit me. They're actually hand-me-down boots. I need to get a set of my own, so gotta work with what I got. There are quite a bit of leaves over here, so we will keep moving our way downtown, baby. So as I was saying before, the main focus of today is Native American artifacts, particularly of the prehistoric era. The area that I am in, which is Ohio, is very well renowned for having multiple prehistoric cultures living within this region. Cultures such as the Adena culture, the Hopewell culture, the Fort Ancient culture, the Great Copper Complex. There are many different archaeological cultures, and that's a loose word, culture, because I think that it's not necessarily a loose word. How should I word it? I'm of the firm belief that these cultures were all just one culture, and the only reason we separate them is because we really don't know much about them. They didn't have a written history that we really know of. There are some tales of, well, not tales, there is known fact that they did have some writing forms, such as the Adena tablets, certain little artifacts that they have found. Well, not really little, they're very significant, but so they might have had a writing system, but as far as we know, they did not. So we don't really know much about them, so we kind of separate these different cultures, the Adena culture, Hopewell culture, Great Copper Complex. We separate them into other entities based on how they buried their dead, basically. Or yeah, that's basically what it was. The one similarity between these cultures is pretty much that they use stone tools. They all use stone tools. They all relied pretty much on the same foods. They lived within the same region, and they all built burial mounds or earthworks. So that's quite a bit of similarities, actually. But that's why I'm of the firm belief that it's just one giant culture that we're talking about here, and the only reason that we really separate them is actually based on the stone tools and artifacts that we found, the differences between them, because there are different styles of artifacts and whatnot to identify them. So I don't know, I'm kind of rambling here. Hopefully some of that made sense. Oh, I'll get better at this, guys, I swear. I'm still new to the game here on the old YouTube. So we are delving back into the forest. Let's go ahead and turn this around. This is where the leaves do pick up a little bit, but I'm probably going to do another scan back anyways. So I'm going back here as far as we can, because there should be a spot back here where it is not as leafy. But go ahead and scan. I've still been scanning the ground, but generally what I do is I fast walk my way back, right, and then I slowly walk back the other way. So that's what I'm going to do today. I have found some artifacts back here before. If you go check out my other videos, I have found some nutting stones in this particular area. And what else have I found? Maybe a scraper, but I'm not really too sure on that one. That's in the second video. Man, these leaves really do not let up. They really do not let up. It's actually getting kind of worse. I was for sure that there was a spot far enough back here that did not have as many leaves, but I don't think we have reached it yet. Oh, here is the special chair. So I started a podcast, quote unquote podcast. I don't really know what I'm going to turn it into at the end of the day, but it's called, I don't even know what I named it now. I think I named it Hiking and Rambling, or Rambling and Hiking, or something like that. Like I said, I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with it, but essentially the whole premise of the idea is me hiking and just talking about random topics that interest me, kind of in like a podcast format, sort of, but also like a vlogging format. Anyways, I recorded like the first episode of this. You can go check that out as well if you want. I've talked about the Joe Rogan podcast with Donald Trump. I don't get too political with things, but I just talk about it and talk about some other topics like UFOs and whatnot. But this chair right here might be legendary in these episodes. This is the white lawn chair that we found at the spot that I generally look for fossils. I haven't found any artifacts in this particular little area. I did find some back over here, some nutting stones. So, yeah, I guess you could count this as the spot. So if you notice, like I said, this is remnants of a creek. There is still technically running water, but it's farther down. But if you see, we were basically walking straight this entire time. Now we have a curvature where it splits off and it starts divoting back here, right? These little curves where creeks or rivers change form, or change direction rather, you will notice almost 99% of the time that there will be a huge heap of gravel and rock that's built up in the corner. And it makes sense, right? Everything's traveling downstream and then it gets caught up right here and it gets stuck right here as the course is changing direction. So, as a result of that, if you're looking for fossils or artifacts, particularly smaller artifacts like points or, you know, that sort of thing, then this is the best little areas to look. I found a lot of fossils doing this. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna sit here and we are going to look through a bunch of these rocks. And I'll probably set you guys as like a little, I don't know, maybe we'll do like some sort of fast forward motion of me looking through some of these. Sometimes I do get my shovel or my rake and I just scrape all this out, but I did not bring that today. I traveled lightly today. So, yeah. Okay, so we are going to just go ahead and dig through all of this. Not all of it, but just looking for any fossils. It's better generally to look for this kind of stuff after it rains as well, because you get a new wash of materials and whatnot. It's kind of an interesting shape. It's perfect, almost perfectly cubed. But generally best to do this after a rain, because you get fresh material to work with. But we haven't been back here in a while, so why not? Just look again. We might have missed something. Plus, we can't really wait for the rain because we haven't gotten any in God knows how long. We've had terrible droughts here past this year. No, I thought that might have been a flint flake, but it was not. Okay, well, I might fast forward some of this and just go with the flow here. Oh, all right, guys. Well, hoodie's coming off. Jacket might be coming off too. I'm getting hot. That was a lot of... I sat there for probably about... well, I'll take you back here and show you again. So I sat and I scraped this pile here. Didn't really find anything. I actually didn't find jack over here. And then I started scraping some of this over here, but it's mostly just sand. So I'm really gonna have to come back here one day with a shovel, and that way I can manipulate that sand easier and get to the small bits and pieces that I want. But I have found a piece of coral fossil literally right here in this little area. I actually found two pieces, one right over here and then one back over here. So that's kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for a piece of well, really anything, but God, my hair looks terrible. I am so sorry for you having to look at my ugly face. I just woke up, so don't laugh at me. But yeah, I found 2 pieces of rugose coil, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's essentially from remnants of when Ohio used to be covered in an ocean, which was roughly about 200 million years ago, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's roughly 200 million years ago is when this region was essentially inhabited by just coral and sea creatures. So, excuse me. Now that we're venturing back, we're going to just do a slow walk through of these gravel pits. Sorry, I'm concentrating on looking here, guys. Particularly, we're looking for flint, anything flint or high in silica, something with a point. And we're kind of looking in these little divots as well, kind of close to the bank, but really anywhere. And this is where I'm mainly looking for just artifacts, because it can be kind of hard to spot fossils by doing this, just surface hunting. You kind of have to pick a lot of things up for fossil hunting, but it is such a bad time of year to do this, guys. If you want to increase your chances of looking or finding artifacts, I highly recommend looking during any time except for fall, basically, and winter. But winter can be all right sometimes. So we're just gonna trek forward, guys. Trekking forward. It's always nice to get out into nature, even if you don't find anything. But we did find these. Wow, so amazing. Deer tracks. Fun deer tracks. If you're a hunter, I've seen some big ones back here. One day I feel like I want to get into hunting, but I have yet to do so. I'd like to get into trapping as well. Maybe that's something we venture off into this channel one day. Who knows? Who knows where things go? Who knows where things lead us? But one thing's for sure is the journey continues forward. Guys, we have found something. We have found a point. I'm like 99% sure. I moved the leaves around because there were leaves and rocks in the way. I was going to... Let me just turn this around. Let me just Okay, so what I was doing was I was searching up and down through these banks. Like I said before, just searching along the banks. I was using my boot to scratch up some of these leaves and stuff. And where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh my God, where'd it go? Where did it go? I was just sitting... Oh, there it is. There it is, baby. There it is. There it is, baby. I'm pretty sure this is a point, guys. I'm pretty sure this is a point. Oh God. Pretty sure this is a point, guys. This rock was basically laying right here. I scraped it up. I thought this rock might have been something because it was of the way that it was shaped at first glance, and then I moved it and I was like, what the hell? That's a piece of chert or something. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, I accidentally stopped recording. Holy shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hold on. Okay, guys, I have you rigged up a little weird here, but I think what we have found here is a knife blade of some sort. I believe this is an Adena knife blade, guys. I believe this is an Adena knife blade. I was sitting there, I was looking up my phone for a minute. I looked up projectilepoints.net. I believe that's the domain name. And I believe that this is an Adena knife blade, guys. As you can see, let me wash this off real quick, or let me wipe it down on my pants or something. I don't want to break it. It's got like sand and stuff on it. Sand and sand and mud. But hang on, I think there's a puddle over here. Let me go. Well, actually, you can kind of see it there. I'll get you guys a better view of this, but you can kind of see how they favored one side here. And it looks like the base right here might have broken a bit. I'll get you guys a better view. Let's do that. There's a puddle here. Hopefully this doesn't have a bunch of bacteria in it. It probably does because it's stagnant water. But we'll wash our hands afterwards. Yeah, it's probably nasty water. But look at that, guys. Look at that. That is astounding. And you know what's interesting about this material, guys, is in my last video, I even talked about it in this video. I found what I believed to be a scraper. You know what? Here's the footage of that real quick. What the hell is that? Hang on. Here you can see. Now I'm still new to this stuff, guys. I'm still new to artifact hunting, so I'm getting better at trying to identify things. And it appears that that could be a flute, from where they would split a stick in half, stick it right there, probably shorter on this end, on the bottom, and they'd use it as a scraper. And here you can see that a little bit better as well. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would be curious to see. So, I believe that to be a scraper, and that stuff that I believe that scraper to be looks to be the same exact material as this, guys. And I found that scraper literally right down here. At least what I believe to be a scraper. And it's literally made out of this same exact material, guys. It's like a local church, I believe. Local church to this area. And wow, guys, I am astounded. I am very, very happy with today. I was a little worried because of the leaves. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna find anything. I'm gonna have to turn this into a hiking and rambling podcast, where I'm just hiking and rambling because I'm not gonna find anything. And sure enough, we could turn this into an artifact hunting video, guys. Oh man, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I feel like I need to start singing hymns. Oh yeah. I don't know, I just want to start singing. Oh my God, guys. That thing is awesome. I'm going to take it home. I'm going to get it cleaned up for the video. Or for the end of the video, so I can get you guys a better presentation of this. Don't you worry. I know it's all mucked up, but it's in great shape, guys. I mean, there's, like I said, the only real thing that is of any significance, it seems, to this piece is the fact that it's got some sort of broken base or whatever. But guys, can't beat that. And I was literally walking back. Remember how I said I walk fast back, then I kind of go to those little curvatures and I dig up right there, and then I walk back slow and surface hunt. And sure enough, walking back slow. Oh man, let's go! Woo! Whew, that hairdo, look at that. Well, what a day, my brothers and sisters, what a day, what a day. It's time to head back to the crib, like we said. Oh man. I went up and down. I went down a little further because I got all hyped up. And I searched down a little further. Didn't find anything. Didn't expect to find anything. But, you know, there's always that, man, what if I find two? So, For now, we're gonna head back, guys. We're gonna clean up this old bad boy. See, I got it in my pocket, secure and sound. We are going to clean up that bad boy. Let's go ahead and get you a better view of it now, because I kind of did clean it up in the puddle, so maybe we'll just keep it out here in the nature. But let's flip this around. Oh my goodness, guys. When it hits that sunlight. And if you saw that video where I rewind it back to the second day where I found that scraper, you can see how it's made out of the same chert. Same local material. At least I think it's local material. But you can see where the base kind of broke a little bit. And as I was saying before, as far as the knife thing goes, you can see how they favored this side more. So that's why I believe it's a blade, because they used it to chop or skin or whatever the case may be. This side's pretty dull, but this side had more focus on napping. And the point, of course, is not really existent. It's not a sharp point. So probably a blade of some sort, but very, very, very cool nonetheless, guys. I could not be happier. And I can't wait to come out here again. That thing looks toxic. Who knows though? Could be edible. Here is the beautiful view that we have. Yeah, I don't know much about mushrooms. Here's the very top of here. Very flat. This is actually, I believe, technically an old dumping ground. An old dump. I'm gonna keep walking while I film the skyline, so it might get a little shaky. But there she is. Beautiful. There's three deer right there, you guys. They see me, I see them. Yeah. Wonder if those were the ones I saw the other day. I saw two the other day. They're beautiful, guys. Absolutely beautiful. I wish I could zoom in better. There they are, you guys. Beautiful. I'm not gonna mess with them. I'm gonna let them do their thing. Beautiful, you guys. Beautiful. Look at that. Woo! Here's the construction land. It's all basically flatland. So there's a lot of tilled up dirt up there. I don't think anyone's come. I think this is basically just a dump. I don't even know if this is a construction zone. I think this might just be a dump. So there's a lot of heavy machinery that's back there further that they use back here sometimes. So I don't know how I'm gonna get down here, you guys. I didn't realize that this was this steep. All the damn leaves. There we go. Here we go. Okay. Stepping down. Oh man, this is gonna be a pain to get down because I have this book bag on me. Book bag filled with my water. But I'm still, we will make it. Oh yeah. Here we go. That's the smell of the creek, ladies and gentlemen. And let me show you what we're gonna do. So I am going to walk along these gravel beds. Guys, I'm excited. Whenever there's a fresh rain, that means fresh material. All this material gets, all the small stuff gets moved around, everything gets moved around. It's like looking fresh off the pallet, baby. So we're gonna traverse this and just look around for anything of significance. Gonna probably go all the way down this way and walk up and down this creek, you guys. My friend said he found flake chips down here, so that's kind of what we're keeping an eye out for. Only bad thing about it, right after a rain, wading the creek right after a rain, literally right after. Oh, there's a truck right here. But the only bad thing about wading the creek right after is the fact that it's very, very muddy. I don't know if we're gonna go back that far because there's that truck's right there, you guys. I'm a little scared. I mean, I guess technically I don't think I'm breaking any laws. He is backing up now, actually. So, I guess technically I'm not breaking any laws because this creek is public as far as I know. Like I said, that's the main reason I haven't come to this spot before, is because of this little area right here. But, God, that kind of scared me, you guys. I thought I was about to get yelled at for being back here or something. Man, I'm stupid. I am stupid. But I don't know if we're gonna go down that way. I don't know if that's a good idea. Might try and go upstream. I've always heard upstream is the better thing to do anyways, so that's probably what I'm going to do. But God, guys, that kind of scared me. That kind of scared me. Man. Well, I'm gonna actually come down this creek a little bit further because he didn't say anything to me. Oh, there he is. He is. So I guess it is a dump. I think that makes sense. But there he goes right there. I think that's him right up there. I just don't want to get yelled at, you guys. I just don't want to get yelled at. Even though I don't think I'm breaking any laws. Because this is a public creek. But yeah, as I was saying before, one of the crappy things about wading the creek is sometimes the water is a little muddy. Actually, pretty much all the time. So, oh, what is this? I don't think this is anything, you guys. I thought it might have been like a hammerstone or something. At first glance, I thought it was a hammerstone. They'd use these to basically flint knap. This is how they would flint knap. It might be a good stone for that, but I don't see any abrasions or anything up at the top or anything. It doesn't look like it is. So. Well, we're gonna stick with the original plan. That guy in the dump truck kind of scared me a little bit. Ooh. What is that? I thought that was perhaps, but it was not. What is? Let me put this walking stick up here. This is raw, uncut footage, baby. Just throwing that. I thought this might have been something, but it is not. It is nothing. It is nothing. Oh, what is that? What is that? Oh, bruh! What? Dude, that's actually a no way, hold up. That looks crude as hell. Yep, that has definitely worked, you guys. That is definitely worked. I haven't even found any chips yet. What the hell? Bro, that's a I think that's a tabletop point. Damn, that was live too. That's crazy. I didn't think it was anything at first because I found chert back here before, a different kind of chert. But I don't know what kind of material that is. Hold up. That's actually sweet. What the hell? What the hell? Hell yeah, brother. Damn, that was just laying right there in the... Right here. That's what I'm saying, you guys. The rain, when the rain comes through, it just moves all this material around. And my buddy came down here earlier. I don't know if I'm in his exact spot, but what is that? That's a bone, you guys. What the hell? What the hell is that? That is a bone of some sort. But it looks like it was used... What if this was a tool? I've never seen... Nah, that's got to be a bone for, like... I don't know what the hell that is, you guys. That is definitely a bone. But I do not know bones. I've never seen a bone with an indentation like that in it. What if this killed this, you guys? What if this killed this? What the hell? You know what's crazy too? What the hell? The rock that I put this on is pretty interesting in itself. This is like a big slab of granite. Okay, this might be a hotbed of activity, you guys. I've only been down here for... Damn, that's a nice rock right there. It's a nice slab of granite. Dang, that's heavy. At that point, this thing is nice. It's crude. They've sharpened it down quite a bit. It's been used a lot. But that is a projectile point. I believe this is a tabletop Adena point. I believe it's a tabletop Adena point, if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty decently made. It's probably made by someone younger, I would assume. That's what I always assume when I come across these crude points. Perhaps someone younger. I don't know though. They've resharpened that quite a bit, you guys. That's a nice slab of... It's like perfect to just set it up there. I like that. Now what the hell is going on with this thing? That's got to be a place where like a joint goes or something, right? That hole. I have never in my life seen a bone like that. I thought it was like a pipe at first, you guys. I like freaked out at first. I was like, what the hell? Literally, my heart sank through my ass when I saw this right here. I thought that was a pipe. Holy shit. That was crazy. If I find it, oh my. If I found a pipe down here, or any pipe for that matter, that is a hell of a find, you guys. Those are extremely rare artifacts. As far as that point goes, it's a nice point. I'm very happy with that. I'm very, very happy with that. This is a great spot. I want to stay down here until the sun goes down, but I think we're getting more rain coming in, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Sorry, I'm excited, you guys. That was crazy. I still thought that was a pipe. Woo! But I don't know if I'm going to bust out the flashlight because I didn't realize how murky this creek was going to be. I honestly didn't think it was going to be this overflown. So I can't believe that's crazy, you guys. Let's go straight. I'm going to show you these one more time, just for the hell of it. I'm very interested in this pipe. I don't know. It's not a pipe. What I thought to be a pipe. It's just a bone. I'm probably an idiot. Yeah, guys. I literally thought this was a freaking pipe when I first saw it. The way it was sticking out like this, I was like, what the hell? The Adena culture is known for making pipes. So, and that's a nice point. Honestly, I'm very happy with that. I don't know what kind of material it's made out of, like I said before, but it's got a chip up at the top. What if it did kill this animal, you guys? It's a crazy question to... The chip right there. It's a crazy question to ask. Well, you guys, I thought I found a pipe. Man, That just like, woo, meh. But I'm an idiot. I'm just an idiot. Yep, we're definitely gonna have to come back to this spot, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely gonna have to come back here. But for the time being, I think I'm actually gonna head back up because, well, actually, I'm gonna go upstream a little bit and check that out. We'll see how it's looking up there. Guys, look how dark it has gotten just in the past. I mean, I've been down here for probably 40 minutes between walking. I still can't believe that, guys. I literally thought I found a pipe. Like, holy. I know I'm just being an idiot. It was mainly because it was off the excitement of finding that point as well. I was like, what the hell? Did I just find a point and a pipe at the same time? That drove me, oh my God. That would have been crazy. The creek is very, very overflowing over here. A lot of debris. Yeah, guys, it's pretty dark back here, so I do have my other flashlight, but we're supposed to be getting more rain, which is nice for that very reason, because you come down in a fresh rain, you get a whole new creek bed, whole new fields, everything. It's so nice. For the time being, you guys, I think I'm gonna head out of here. I might give you another look at that point when I get back, but I'm gonna head out of here. I hope you enjoyed watching. We had a pretty fun adventure today. We came across some deer. We hiked a new path. We found a new spot. We found the mushrooms. We found a point, and I thought I found a freaking pipe. So it's been a damn eventful day, you guys, even within the 40 minutes or so. If you enjoyed, please make sure to subscribe, do all that cool YouTube stuff. This is mainly what I post. I post a lot of historical stuff, archaeology stuff, that sort of thing. I have some interesting video ideas in the works right now pertaining to the Mayan Empire, and also be on the lookout for some live streams, because I think I am going to try and learn some Spanish, and I think it'd be fun to do on live stream. Kind of like prepare for a sweet trip down to Mexico, Guatemala, that whole area, to see the ruins. My uncle's done it, so he told me it's very, very cool, and I'm super interested in this stuff. So yeah, I think it'd be a cool adventure, especially for the YouTube channel, to travel there, explore there, the whole 9 yards, you guys. So without further ado, I'm gonna hike the rest of this. I'll talk at you guys later. A lot of this out, and there's actually a lot of loose stone up here, because we just had a rain. So that's another reason that I'm checking see how the creek's turning here. A lot of that sediment, as you can see, and those small rocks get built up around here when it starts raining, and then the water starts raising. So I always like to start in the corner, in the crevice, and kind of just work my way either up or downstream, whatever I'm feeling for the day. Probably gonna work my way downstream today, maybe a little bit upstream as well, we'll see. But let's go ahead and rocking the Crocs, baby. Rocking the Crocs. We'll take the first step into the old Gator Creek. Boom! First step into the gravel pit, baby. It's always oh, I thought that is nothing. You get excited every time you step in for the first time. Just sometimes you either find something right away, or you do, I don't know. I mean, you can just find anything anytime, but a lot of the times when I find stuff, I find it right away, and then I never find anything again for the rest of the day, or I find something at the end. That's literally how it works pretty much every time. Like right before I'm gonna leave, I gotta be kind of careful this time of year wearing the old Crockies, because there are leeches this time of year. They're pretty bad this time of year. But so far I haven't gotten hit by too many. What is this? I always check smooth stones, guys, because this one's a little small, but smooth stones could be atlatl weights. And I've been meaning to make more of an educational video on atlatl weights, especially local to this area. At least I believe they're out loud of weights, and I'll kind of cover that in the video. But we got quite a couple little gravel. We got quite a few. Rather, we got quite a few. Sorry, I'm getting excited, guys. I can't always get excited. Oh, I need to take my. I haven't taken my dang brace off yet. I thought I saw a flake or something here, but it's not. I thought I saw a large flake, but it's nothing. Well, let me go ahead and take my armband off here and get better prepared. Okay, I'm gonna do a scan to see if you guys see it. It stuck out to me. I thought it was a pestle. It was kind of like sunken in a little bit, but you know, for effect. And let me tell you the reason why I believe it's some sort of grinding stone. So you can kind of see, like I said, at first I thought it was a pestle, which I guess it still might be. This could be like some sort of grip for it, but it doesn't have a lot of length to it. It doesn't look like it broke. And if you see here, see if I can zoom in on it. See right here where the layer changes, and right there. Oh yeah, you can see it real good right there. See where they grinded it? You can see the texture difference. And like I said, you could see the thumbprint. God, I need to cut my fingernails. It's disgusting, guys. But yeah, they would have used it as a little scraper. On the pad. Here, you see it? I don't know if it's anything. It looks like it might be worked. Point. What the hell is that? Hang on. Here you can see. Now I'm still new to this stuff, guys. I'm still new to artifact hunting, so I'm getting better at trying to identify things. And it appears that that could be a flute, from where they would split a stick in half, stick it right there, probably shorter on this end, on the bottom, and they'd use it as a scraper. And here you can see that a little bit better as well. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would be curious to see. But for effect, it's time. These smaller rocks. Maybe I start looking around here for points. I don't know. I'm probably gonna save that piece though. It is still early, it is cold. This is new land for me. So I don't know whether to explore or to excavate here. Decisions. So it gets pretty deep up here. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm filming vertically. It's easier for me in this scenario. But it gets deeper up there to a point where I don't really want to walk any further because it's so cold. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to basically start kind of digging where I found these nutting stones. I'm gonna try and find a good spot to dig, and then I'm gonna sift it with my bucket here. It's got a bunch of holes in it, and see if we can't find anything cool. So that is the plan. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know how this is gonna be pretty difficult to dig up probably, but yeah, guess we probably want to start, I don't know, from this side or this other side here, but probably just want to start trying to like basically dig out the embankment here. Oh, I'm gonna get on it, guys. But they're definitely cupping stones or nutting stones. I believe they are. Anybody else who thinks otherwise, let me know. I've found a bunch of stuff like this. Nutting stones like that. Oh, I mean, literally 10 minutes. 10 minutes and I found 2 artifacts. I think it's pretty cool. Even if they are pretty common, very common, the most common artifacts. Still pretty cool. You can walk in your backyard and just find history. Their use cases and whatnot. I'll get you guys a better glimpse of each individual one here in a minute, but I do want to mention that these are all found in the southwest Ohio area. And these stones vary very differently in ages, more than likely. They could span anywhere from the early archaic period up to really prehistoric time, or the late prehistoric era, or even into some of the colonial times, really, I guess. So who knows how long they actually used these for. There are colonial records of Native Americans having nutting stones in their households. So aside from the point, the location that I found most of these is in a known area for the Adena culture. So it would be more than likely early woodland era or period for most of these, but it's really hard to say. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys each individual one kinda, and just do a little presentation on that. I actually have a video on that, where I find that, and I also have a video of which I will link in the description, where I find pretty much all of these. I think all of these. I think I find all of these on film pretty much, except for maybe 1 or 2 of them. But I have more. This is just the only bit that I have currently found at the moment. I don't know where my other ones went, so this is what I'm left with. So without further ado, let's delve into it, I suppose. This one I did find on film. Actually, yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure I found like all of these on film except maybe this one, which I think I even found. Yeah, I did find this one. I found this one with this one, actually, in the same area. I believe I found this one and that one in the same day. I don't remember exactly, but so this is a fragment piece. It's not too rich or too what's the word I'm looking for? It's not too obvious that it's a divot. So not 100% sure that this is one, but it was found near these. So assuming that it is a fragment of one, not too exciting, but this is the next one. This one's pretty cool. I believe I found this one in a creek. And this one's pretty interesting for two reasons. One being that you can actually see, if you look close enough here, if I can get enough film, you can see the rotary marks. And some of the use cases for these are believed to be some sort of fire starting method. And to me, this is kind of indicative of some sort of fire starting process with the rotary marks on it. You can see how they probably used it to spindle something to potentially create a fire. Pretty neat, really pretty neat. And then the other thing that you notice on this is in order to start these holes, they would have to chip away at it to create the hole with some sort of other hard stone or tool. So that is the remnants of a chip where he or she decided that they did not want to start it there because of the angle, so they decided to start it here instead. So it's an ancient chip. Pretty cool, pretty cool. That's one of the more interesting ones that I have, I would say, because just for the sheer fact of the rotary mark on it. Now moving on to this one real quick, because this one I'm pretty certain is not a cupping stone, although it might be. You can't even really see it. It's right there, it's this little cup right there. And like I said, I don't think it's one, so we'll just throw that one in there real quick. But this one right here is a fragment of a bigger one, and you can see where they have multiple different small divots. For the use case of this one, I'm not entirely sure what this would have been. It was probably used and then discarded, or they decided not to use it for some reason. They were trying to get a hole. I don't know. Maybe they used it for a shell or just a small meal. You know, they used it to prepare a small meal. I really don't know. The fact that the divots are so small is very interesting to me. And it's, of course, a fragment as well. You could see where it broke off. But sort of like this one. Those are both fragments. This one right here is pretty cool. Now, this one I think was for sure used as some sort of pestling process, just for the shape of the hole, right? The way it's pretty jagged and it's not really circular like this one or that one or that one. So I think I'll even show you an example. I have a little kind of like pestle tool. So you could imagine that there might have been some sort of shell, or probably shell, or maybe nuts or something like that, and they would have sat here and done this process. And you can even see kind of how I would create that shape doing that. It could have been used to process some sort of pigment as well. Who knows? But I do think this was used as some sort of pestling process. Another interesting thing about this piece, similar to this one here, is you can see the chip where they decided to chip it here. To maybe they chipped it to test the hardness of the rock to make sure it was soft enough to even do this, or maybe they just decided to move it because of the angle. Who knows? Who knows? But moving on to the next one, if you notice here, now the use case for this particular one, I believe, was used as some sort of navigation stone. And let me explain a little bit why I mean that. It's a pretty out there theory, I would say. Not many people would probably agree with that, but I will mention why I believe that. But one thing I want you to take note of this particular piece here is the fact that in many cases you'll find that the holes are in the center, but in some rare cases you will find the holes in what seems to be a very intentional spot. And you can see here how it's intentionally put in this right-hand corner up here. And another thing you notice comparatively to this hole right here how this one's not a perfect circle. This one is a perfect circle, and it's a perfect circle because there is no room for interpretation as to where this would potentially be pointing in terms of navigation. Now, I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine yourself as a Native American traversing some sort of creek or waterway, and you're setting up a temporary village in that area, right? So you're kind of laying out the landscape in terms of hunting grounds or whatever the case may be. Now, you're going to want to map out your landscape, right? And I believe these bigger stones, that's another note, is that they're very big. This is actually a fragment even of a bigger piece. So they're generally very big, so they'd be easy to identify. And they would, I think, use these to essentially map out their lands, point directions of important things. And some even speculate that they would use these to point into the sky as some sort of astronomical calendar of some sort. They could track the sky with these as well, they believe. Now, I'll show you what I kind of mean so you get a little bit of a better interpretation. So I want you to imagine, don't mind the mess, currently in the process of cleaning this house up here, so don't mind the mess. But I want you to imagine this corner right here, right? And this adds to the effect of why this is put right here in the corner like this, in a very particular spot. It's a perfect circle, so like I said, there's no, if this were pointing here, you can't really use this to point somewhere, right? If this corner were a tree, that's what I want you to imagine, this corner being a tree or something, so you have to either go left or right. You can't really use something like this to identify that, right? So they would use this because you can point. You can point in certain directions, right? If the tree, or if the spot that you need to turn is left, then it'll be pointed left this way, or vice versa. So that's kind of a little imaginative or thought experiment you can use for a use case of navigation for that. Pretty interesting, I thought, pretty interesting. Now, let's move on to, hope I explained that well. It is kind of late for me, so. But moving on to the next piece here. This one, I believe, was also probably found, or not found, was probably used as a fire starting method. There's not any indicative rotary marks in this one, but you can kind of see, I think, what appears to be some sort of rotary mark. This one is very, very shallow, so it's almost like they used it and decided not to use it. Like, I don't think they really even got a use case out of that. It's so small. I mean, that's maybe an inch deep. So who knows? Who knows? It could have been it's pretty tough rock, so maybe that's why they decided not to use it. But one interesting thing about this particular piece is something you can imagine. If you notice, most of these are flat, right? And that's for a reason. They're pretty flat. You don't really, they're not vertically thick like this one is, right? And that's for a reason, because of how they would have to, sit there and grind out a hole. You need that for the proper leverage, right? You can't sit there and just hold this like this. But in this case, with this particular rock, they used it they probably stuffed it in the ground. So you will find some like this, but very, very likely you will find them flat like this. I mean, you notice all of these are pretty much flat. So that's one interesting thing about this particular piece is you don't really find them thick like this, and I think the reason is because they used it to stuff it in the ground. All right, so moving on to the last piece here. This one is a fragment, of course, like these, and this one technically. But this one is pretty defined. This stone probably had, when it was a full stone, it probably had many of these on there. They probably used this a lot. And this is just a piece of it, because you can kind of see here where they started another one. As far as use case for this, I believe it's similar to this, some sort of processing of some sort. They would have had a pestle and they would have sat there and done that with it to process something. Either pigments, food, nuts, something like that. But aside from the point, that is pretty much the collection here. Bruh! What? But yeah, pretty sweet little piece. Here you can see it's got a little chip at the top. I'm not sure if that's intentional or if that's from impact, if that's an impact fracture. Let me know what you guys think in the comments what that is. I believe this is a Brush Creek chert of some kind. It's not a super fine material, but they have sharpened this thing down quite a bit using it. So they obviously like this very much. They used it a lot. There's a little bit of patina right there at the base. It's a nice little piece. All of these I found on videos, so I'll end up rewinding each one as I go through. So I guess I believe this is an Adena blade. Here's a quick little rewind to when I found this. There it is, baby. I'm pretty sure this is a point, guys. I'm pretty sure this is a point. Oh God, pretty sure this is a point, guys. I also have another video talking about why this is a blade or a knife of some sort. If you can see here, they prefer... Oh, that's not good. Just dropped it. Hopefully I didn't break it. If you see here, you can see how they preferred one side. One side is worked a lot more than this side. It's very dull right here. Another interesting thing about this piece is the base. That's some of the, I believe that's some of the patina right there. It looks like it was crystallizing at the base, which is pretty interesting. Pretty cool little piece. Very happy with it. Very happy. I don't know what this material is. I believe it's some sort of chert. It could even be, yeah, I think it's some sort of chert. Pretty cool. God, I can't believe I dropped it. I hate dropping them. Always way I'm afraid I'm gonna chip them or something. Here's another blade. I don't know what this one is exactly. Here's also a rewind to when I found this one. Right? And look at that. Look at that, guys. But I'm not entirely sure what this is called. I've never seen a stem or a base like this. But you can see the hafting right there. Either that or it's a chip of some kind, but I think that's where they would have hafted the stick onto it. And same with the previous artifact or previous blade. You can see how they favored one side compared to the other side, which is dull. So my guess is that this was some sort of chopping mechanism. As far as material, I'm not really too sure what this material is. Seems like a local material. Some kind of flint. Not sure. But nonetheless, I'll get you guys some pictures of them. Pretty cool little pieces. This one's probably my favorite out of the bunch, just because of the cool looking base on it. And I kind of like this material too. You can tell they use this thing pretty often. Pretty nice. All right, let's get some pictures. then you guessed correctly. And if you're an expert, then you already knew that. But they have grounded this up quite a bit. This is a very crude point. It's not very sharp. And you can actually see right here where it either chipped from where they shot it, or it's an intentional for how they put it on the stick, which I think that's more likely what it is. It looks more like a flute, like an intentional flute of sorts. But this would indeed be a projectile point. Now let me show you a knife blade and show you why that would be different than a projectile point. So here we have a knife blade, and you may be wondering, that seems pointier than that, so how is that a knife? Well, the main way you identify it as being a knife is that you could tell here that it's worked more on this side. See how it has more flaking on this side here? It's sharper on this side. This side is dull. It's barely worked. There's like a little chip right there, which that might be from age. But you can see they preferred one side, and it had a stem here, and they would have used it to chop or skin, something of that effect. So contrary to popular belief, this is not a point, not a projectile point. It is indeed a knife blade of some sort. Let's take a look at these other two real quick. These ones are a little more apparent. So of course, same thing. This one is very obviously a projectile point. I mean, you can just tell it's very sharp, very pointy, has serrations on the side, so it's intended to puncture and cause harm. You can see it's been repaired. But indeed, this is a projectile point. Now this right here is also a blade of some sort. I noticed that the blades are made out of less finer material. Granted, this projectile point here is made out of a very crude material. I have belief that these tabletop points, I believe this is called a tabletop point, something very similar to that. I believe these points are made by someone younger, perhaps learning to make them. That's always been my theory behind projectile points like this. But nonetheless, on to this. This is in fact a blade. I haven't been able to identify this exact base here. But again, you can see that they favored one side here. Very jagged and worked on this side, whereas this side's dull. So this would have been some sort of knife blade, and you can actually see the flute on it as well, where they would have tied on the stick. See that little spot right there? That is the flute. Same on that side right there. You can see it a lot better on this side. So yep, that is a knife. That's a little bit of the differences there. Two projectile points. And like I said, I have theories that these points are made by, it's some sort of learning process. I don't know. It's not as well made, of course, as something like this. I believe this is a Kirkland, or I don't know. I'm still getting better at identifying these guys. So, yeah. But nonetheless, that's kind of a little rundown. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it or learned something, or whatever the case may be. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. And this is a heavy piece of heavy piece of granite. I mean, this thing alone probably weighs like 7 or 8 pounds, and it's tiny. Maybe closer to 5 or 6. I mean, it's a heavy piece of rock. But, yeah, I believe they use these to potentially sharpen their points or blades, stuff like this. They would have, you know, I'm always not gonna do it, but, yeah. So, could have also been used to polish stones, stuff like this. You can see how polished down this is. Same with this piece right here. You can see they polished that down. These were actually found relatively in the same area. So another interesting thing about this piece is this little chunk right here. Don't know if that's intentional or not, but yep, this is a pretty interesting piece, you guys. Definitely a pretty interesting piece. Let's move on to the more obscure piece, something I've never really seen before. So I'm pretty sure this has been in a fire, for one. And then obviously this is intentional right here. Now, I don't know if they use this to sharpen, or I don't know if they use this to perhaps straighten their arrows or their shafts. That's what I believe that is used for. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but that is what I've heard through the grapevine, for a lack of better words. So, I don't know. You guys, if you guys have any opinions on that, let me know. But that is very obviously an artifact. What they used it for, I'm not sure. But another interesting thing about it is right here. It's a very small, minute detail. It's kind of hard to see, but there's 2 little scratches on there. Dink, dink. For what reason? I don't know. But it could be, I guess it could be something that, you know, hit it in the creek or whatever the case. I mean, it's obviously a fairly old rock, but I think that is done by a human being. And that is very obviously done by a human being. So, and of course it's been in a fire. So let me know what you guys think. These are pretty interesting artifacts to me. They're a little bit more obscure than the more popular points. So that's kind of why I like learning about them and, you know, just making videos about them, whatnot. This one is really nice. So this is a really nice polishing stone / sharpening stone. This thing is super nice. But well, I guess while I'm here, I'll show off this one too. This is also probably a polishing stone of some kind. You can see right here where they really worked it at that tip for the angle, but sanded down right here. Not sanded down, smoothed down. And it's the perfect shape as well, of course, for like a little index finger thumb scraper. If you were to polish a little stone like this, which this is, I'll delve into that artifact in another video. But, yeah, so these are polishing stones or sharpening stones. Hope you enjoyed. This scratch. This is an intentional crevice, guys. And what they would do is they would tie sinew around this part, and or cordage, whatever they could use at the time, and they'd use these for their atlatls to weigh them down. They started doing this in the early archaic period. And like I said, I have another one at home that's a very good representation, but here you can see where they try to manipulate it here, but the cortex of the rock was probably too strong, so they decided to go down here. I don't know why they did it like that. But this one, I thought I saw some pecking on the other side. You can kind of see where they, sorry, camera work's not that great. You can kind of see where they started to create another hole right here for it to wrap around this way. However, they had it rigged up. Like I said, I'll show you the other one I got at home. It's a great representation. You'll see why. But these are a little less known. It's actually, this one particularly looks like it's been in a fire, or it's been heat treated for some reason, maybe to process something, some sort of food or something. But you can see where the hand marks are. They would make these tools as comfortable as they could, guys. So they would engrave, or basically like sand in little grooves for their hands. And you can see on the end of this one, like I said, I gotta clean it up a little bit, but you can see where the scratching, and they'd use it like this to work, process food or whatever they needed to do, process nuts, whatever, plants, all sorts of things. And here you also see the 2 thumb prints, and they probably use this one. You can even feel right here where the groove is for the, I don't know if you can see it very good, but you can see where it's been worked. You can even see, it looks like they even scratched something at the top here. You can see 3 lines scratched up at the top of this for some reason. Pretty cool. It's nothing spectacular, and a lot of people don't even really know these are artifacts, you know, and some people will argue that they're not artifacts. There's plenty of people that'll say these aren't artifacts, but I've done quite a bit of research and pretty certain that these are grinding stones, and these are atlatl weights. So that's that. It is raining here. I'll take you down to the creek here in a bit, but I'm probably gonna sit in the car for a minute, and we'll get back at it. Might hit another spot down the road. It has a lot of native activity around here, all the way up till basically colonial times. Now obviously those atlatl weights and probably those grinding stones are more in the archaic periods, probably middle to late archaic. Possibly early though, it's possible. Could even be Paleo-Indian technically, but they really started using the weights towards the beginning of the archaic period. Aside from the point, I mean, this is a public park, right? And I found those pretty fast. Not a lot of people know about those artifacts, those mythic tools, especially the atlatl weights. But I find them out here all the time, guys. I mean, all the time. A lot of the time they are oval shaped. In fact, if you go watch my Ohio Ancient History video discussing the archaic period, I don't think I've actually uploaded it yet by this recording, but it'll be up soon. I finished the script. Oh God, it's starting to rain. But you can learn about the atlatl weights. I'm gonna head back up here. See, a lot of time you look for smoother stones. This one's a little smaller. They don't usually come this small, a little bit bigger than this. But look for these smoother, polished stones. A lot of the time that's what they used. Nothing yet. What is this? That looks kind of interesting. Got like a little, I don't think it's anything, but it looks interesting. Looks like it could be like a little scraper, but probably not. And I'm just kind of checking these gravel pits. Like I said, I figured I'd at least record the video since I did find something down here. I don't know how lucky we'll get today, but you never know. And we might swap spots, we might not with the rain. I don't think it's supposed to rain too terribly long today, so maybe we stick it out by the time we drive over to the new spot. Now here's one right here. This one might be see, that would have been a good one right there from the top side, but I got louder weight. What is this? I thought that was a bone for a second. At first glance. The way it was sticking up out of the mud. But alright, we're gonna go ahead and...
Pitted stones. Pitted stones are stones or rocks featuring those depressions or pits created by the indigenous peoples through a process of pecking, grinding, or other forms of abrasion. These depressions vary in size and shape, and the stones themselves can range from small handheld pieces to larger boulders. The use of pitted stones by Native Americans dates back thousands of years. Archaeological evidence suggests that these stones were employed from the early Archaic period in roughly 8000 BC through to the historic period. The exact timeline can vary depending on the region, as different Native American cultures used and modified these tools according to their needs and available resources. Now, like we said in the beginning, the use case of these stones has really baffled archaeologists and historians alike. But the most common theories of pitted stone use cases are food processing. One of the primary uses of pitted stones was probably for food processing. The depressions were used for grinding seeds, nuts, and other plant materials. The stones often functioned similarly to mortar and pestle sets, helping to break down foodstuffs into finer, more digestible forms. Use case number 2, fire starting. Among the various uses for Native American pitted stones, one intriguing possibility is their role in fire starting techniques. Although this use is less commonly discussed compared to their applications in food processing or perhaps ceremonial contexts, the idea that pitted stones might have been employed to create fire is definitely worth exploring. I like to think that there may have been some sort of fire storage element at play, as they might have used the pits to store embers for later use in their day-to-day life, as starting a fire over and over again was probably annoying as hell. I like to imagine use cases as well, like sweat lodges or traveling from, say, the flatland camp down to the local creek. Now, while on the topic of storage, it's also likely that they were using these to store liquids or pigments from the various paints that they would use to paint themselves for hunts. Pitted stones could have also had various applications in woodworking in particular, such as polishing and other carving techniques. I've even heard a theory regarding pitted stones that some of these stones could have been used as some sort of navigational aid. The pits may have been used to create alignment points for astronomical observations, or perhaps to mark trails in important locations. Whatever the use case for these ancient tools, the use case is probably different depending on what it was needed for at the time. These are realistically best described as ancient man's equivalent of modern man's workbench. At least we think. Or at least I think. Now let me know what you think in the comments of this video, and if you enjoyed and love Native American stuff, including documentaries, artifact hunting, site visits, or videos like these, then please subscribe as well, because I think you'll love my channel. It's all we do here at the Doogie's Earthworks YouTube channel. So make sure to hit that subscribe once again and hit that like, and thank you for watching. I love you.
Alright, so I wanted to take the time here to just show you some real-world examples of how we could possibly identify some of these different use cases. I have a couple of pitted stones here showing off possibly a use case of food processing. I have one that has a use case of possibly fire starting. And then the most interesting one I thought was the navigation aspect, using it to identify trails or astronomical phenomenon, or not phenomenon necessarily, but navigational purposes, navigating the stars and whatnot. So I have one for potentially that use case as well. So let's go ahead and show you guys these different examples. We'll go ahead and start with the fire starting aspect because I think it's the most obvious, for lack of better words. And then we'll do the food processing, and then we'll show you the navigation at the end. So let's go ahead and pull this around. So this particular stone is relatively small. It's fairly small, especially compared to the other two here. But the way that I identified this as being used as some sort of fire starting method is if you compare it to these ones, which I'll let you assume which is which navigation wise and food processing wise, but you can see that the cupping or the divot is a lot different, right? This one's very circular. This one is deformed in a way. But if you take a look at this one, you can see the rotary marks to where it looks like they were trying to spindle something. And to me, that is indicative of some sort of fire starting process. I mean, you can really see it. The divot right there. It looks like they were rotating something in there, right? And another interesting aspect, you can see it on this one as well. This one does not have one, but you can see these little plucks right here. That's how they start the hole. They would pluck it out with another hard stone to get it started to make a hole. So you can see where they started it right there, and they decided that that wasn't a great spot because of the angle. So they decided to put it right here. But I thought that was very indicative of some sort of fire starting process, and I think many would agree with that, especially when you compare it to other versions of it. And I have a few others up here as well. But yeah, so that is the fire starting process, or the fire starting example. I thought it was interesting that the stone was super small. It does look like that it fragmented, so this is probably a fragment, or most certainly we can assume a fragment of a bigger stone. And that you will find them a lot like this in smaller fragments. They get broken up over the years. But moving on to the food processing one, and if you guessed that right, good job. So like I said before, you can see where they plucked out a hole to try and start a hole, and they decided the angle wasn't good. Now the reason that I believe this is indicative of food processing is just look at the hole. It looks like it looks like the way they worked it, they were pestling something, probably some sort of shell. In the area that I found these in, there is a lot of shells, so shellfish and whatnot. But let me show you, let me pull out a little stone tool here out of my bag. Okay, so here we are. We got our little pestle tool, just to show you an example. Now this isn't an actual tool, I don't believe that they were using, but it does have interesting hand marks kind of divoted into it, so you never know. It was found in the same area. But aside from the point, it's a perfect example. It's a perfect stone to show you what they would have done with this. If they had some sort of shell in here, this would have basically been their workstation. They would have sat here and grounded it up. Or possibly something for pigment. They would have been grinding some pigment or something. You never know. But that was basically the action that was used to create this divot. And you can, like I said, if you compare it to that, fire starting, pestling, right? So thought that was pretty interesting. And now for the navigation rock. And I thought this was the most interesting use case potentially, and I'm sure many of you do as well. But as you can tell, this hole is in a very particular spot of this rock, almost like it's indicating some sort of direction, right? That's the first indicator. The other indicator is the fact that it's nearly a perfect circle, a very intentional spot. And you can see here how it's intentionally put in this right-hand corner up here. And another thing you notice comparatively to this hole right here, how this one's not a perfect circle. This one is a perfect circle, and it's a perfect circle because there's no room for interpretation as to where this would potentially be pointing in terms of navigation. So there is no second guessing whether or not this is pointing in a certain direction, right? That's the other giveaway. So you can imagine this rock, it's a very big rock as well, which is another aspect, which I believe it was actually bigger at one point. It looks like it's fragmented a little bit. So this is a very, very big rock. If they had it planted in a certain direction, say the hunting trail was this way. You have two different directions, right? Say this was a tree, this corner is a tree, two different directions. Well, it's very indicative of where this is pointing to, if you have two different ways. So that is another use case or another real life example of a potential use case of a cupping stone, pitted stone. I thought that was the most interesting scenario, the navigation. So if you enjoyed, thank you. Please come again.
For Native American arrowheads, old tools, or relics from the past. But did you know that many of the items you come across may be protected by law? In the United States, there are strict rules that govern the collection and removal of historical artifacts, especially when it comes to public lands. In this video, we're diving into the laws every amateur archaeologist needs to know to avoid legal trouble. When it comes to hunting for artifacts in the United States, the laws are pretty complicated and can vary depending on where you're looking, meaning which state you're in. There are federal laws that protect archaeological sites and objects, and there are also state-specific regulations that you should be aware of. This particular video is mainly focused on the federal side of things that apply to all 50 states. And if you're interested in a complete breakdown of the laws state by state, comment your state below and we'll start covering the most requested ones that we see. Most states are similar regardless though, and the variations all pretty much lead to the same thing. Any form of public grounds, known archaeological sites, or federal property of any sort is not authorized and illegal to remove artifacts from, whereas private lands such as farm fields, backyards, etc. are generally allowed and legal. Now, let's get into some specifics. The first law that you should know about and need to know about is the Archaeological Resources Protection Act, or ARPA, which was passed in 1979. ARPA, enacted in 1979, is a key federal law aimed at safeguarding archaeological sites and artifacts on public lands in the United States. Under ARPA, it is illegal to excavate, remove, damage, or otherwise alter archaeological resources from public lands without a valid permit. This law was established to combat the looting and destruction of historical and cultural sites, ensuring that these valuable artifacts and sites are preserved for future generations. ARPA covers all federal lands, including national parks, national forests, military installations, and other lands owned by the U.S. government. The law applies to any item over 100 years old that holds cultural or historical significance, such as pottery, tools, fossils, or other artifacts, such as old glass bottles, old bullets, etc. Now, how could you receive a permit under ARPA to legally remove artifacts from public lands? The permit process ensures that any excavation or research is conducted responsibly and ethically with minimal impact on the site. Here's a short outline of the steps involved in obtaining an ARPA permit. Step number 1, you must determine your eligibility. The permit is generally only granted to professional archaeologists or researchers affiliated with academic or research institutions. Applicants must demonstrate that they have the expertise and resources to conduct the excavation responsibly. Step number 2 is to submit an application. The application for an ARPA permit can be submitted to the appropriate federal agency such as the National Park Service, the Bureau of Land Management, or U.S. Forest Service. The application will require you to outline the purpose of the excavation, the research plan, and the methods that you intend to use on such plan. Step number 3 is to demonstrate public benefit. The applicant must show that the excavation will benefit the public through increased knowledge, education, or preservation. This may involve committing to publishing findings or presenting them in educational settings. Step number 4, consult with Native American tribes. In cases where artifacts or sites are culturally significant to Native American tribes, the applicant must consult with these groups and consider their concerns before granting a permit. Step number 5 is compliance with environmental laws. You also need to comply with other environmental regulations such as the National Environmental Policy Act, which ensures that the excavation will not harm the surrounding ecosystem. Once the permit is granted, it usually comes with strict guidelines on how the excavation must be conducted, as well as requirements for the preservation and documentation of any discovered artifacts. Let's talk about the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, or NAGPRA, NAGPRA for short. These laws exist to protect indigenous cultural heritage, and breaking them can result in some serious legal consequences. If you disturb Native American burial sites or remove sacred objects from said burial site, you could be prosecuted under NAGPRA. The penalties here can range from hefty fines to criminal charges depending on the severity of the offense. And it's not just federal land where you have to be careful of this law. Many states have their own laws that protect archaeological resources on state-owned land, and NAGPRA covers all burial sites, no matter what land they're on, in any case. Ignoring these laws can lead to similar consequences, including losing your right to collect artifacts in the future. But beyond the legal consequences, there's a much broader impact to consider. When someone digs up an artifact without proper research or documentation, particularly from a burial mound, it destroys valuable context. The location of an artifact, how it was placed, and its surroundings all tell a bigger story. By removing these items improperly, we lose vital information that could have helped archaeologists and historians understand the past. This loss of context can prevent future generations from learning about and appreciating the cultures that came before us. It's not just about following the law, it's about preserving history for the benefit of everyone. So if you discover a mound or a supposed burial site anywhere on private land, make sure to go through the proper channels and steps before you go excavating it yourself. So to review, here's the tips broken down in a more digestible form. Step number 1, always get permission. If you're hunting artifacts on private land, always get permission from the landowner. It's best to have this permission in writing, especially if you're planning to dig. This protects both you and the landowner. Step number 2, stick to surface collecting if you're in a gray area. We all have that creek or part of the river that isn't technically on protected or federally owned land, and you're not really sure who the technical owner is. We deem these areas gray areas. One of the safest and most legal ways to enjoy artifact hunting when searching these gray areas is by simply surface collecting. This means only picking up artifacts that you find on the surface of the ground without disturbing the soil or creek beds. Step number 3, avoid protected areas at all costs. Make sure to avoid protected areas such as national parks, federal lands, or archaeological sites. Hunting for artifacts in these places is almost always illegal without a permit, so it's best to stay clear of these areas altogether. Step number 4, report significant finds. If you are in a protected area and you do happen to stumble across something significant, such as an ancient tool or artifact that seems culturally important, consider reporting your find to local authorities or a nearby museum. By following the laws and respecting archaeological sites and thinking about the bigger picture, we can all help preserve these pieces of the past for our future generations. If anybody knows the names to any of these, please place the timestamp in the comment and also let me know. That'd be freaking awesome. I'm looking to get some, second opinions on these. But I do know for sure that this is Flint Ridge. Some interesting things about the piece is, one, it's broken, of course. And then you can see these interesting crystals inside, the quartz crystals. Very cool. Very beautiful. Here's another piece of Flint Ridge, I believe. This is like some sort of scraper, I think. I think it's some sort of scraper. You can see there's almost a flute like right here. Right there. Seems to be a flute of some kind. Very beautiful material. Flint Ridge, Ohio, I believe. Now this, I'm pretty sure, is called an Adena catch blade. I'm pretty sure this is called an Adena catch blade. If I'm mistaken, I apologize. But this would have been a really, really, really nice blade. The material is super nice. I'm not sure the material name, but some sort of flint. Not sure the exact flint name, but it is very, very high quality stuff. No doubt behind that. There's the patina on it right there. It's got a nice little brown coating to it. This is one of my favorite pieces of my collection. I like that piece a lot too. This piece is probably my oldest piece, I think. I think this is a paleo scraper. I'm pretty sure this is a paleo scraper, you guys. I'm not 100% sure, but the interesting thing about it is it seems that it's got like a bone flute on it or something. Like they put bone right here or something like that. Just the way the pattern is. I don't know. Yeah, I might be wrong on that, but I think that's a paleo scraper, you guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. These are Adena. These are Adena knife blades, I believe. Chopping blades. You can see they favored one side there. I'm not sure what the exact material is. It's not a super high quality material. This is a nice shirt. Same kind of ordeal. It's got crystals going on down here. Very cool piece. And then this, I believe, is a tabletop Adena point, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if that's a chip or a flute. But a nice little piece, nonetheless. I actually have videos where I found these ones. Finding these ones live. I actually found that one live. And then I found that fossil back there as well. But these pieces are very nice. This is obviously a broke. Yeah. Still pretty nice though. I'm not sure what this is, guys. If anybody knows what the heck this thing is, I would absolutely love to know. Because I know it's not a point. It's a tool of some kind. And I have no idea what kind of tool this would be. No idea. So if anybody has any ideas of what the heck this thing would have been used for, it doesn't look like that it has a broken tip. Actually, it might actually have a broken tip.
Never mind, it might be a point with a broken tip. Looking at it a little closer, I'm live on video. That might be a point with a broken tip, or it might be some sort of tool, I don't know. But speaking of that, this tip for this point right here has been repaired. It had a big crack up there. So I like this piece a lot too. I gotta get it cleaned up a little bit. But I like all three of these pieces. So moving on to some of the more obscure stuff. Those are the points. Ironically, this is probably what I'll spend a little bit more time on, but maybe not. I'll try and blow through these as fast as I can. So these right here are fishing weights of some kind, I believe. I found all of these around the same area. At first, I thought these were some sort of Adela dart weight, but I'm completely wrong on that. That was one of the very first videos I ever made on this channel. I think I'm completely wrong about that. But I think these are some sort of fishing weight of some kind. You'll notice they all have these similar features where it looks like they tied something on to the stone. That one's probably the best one. And then you got this one right here. There's a mark right there from where they would have tied. Probably some sort of sinew or fiber or something. And then boom, right there. And they're always at this, you know, within alignment of one another, like they were using it to tie. So I believe these are fishing weights of some kind. I believe this one broke. It wasn't this deep. You can see the little mark right here from where they tied it around on the corner. So I believe these are some sort of weight of some kind. Now moving on to these are pretty well known. These are nutting stones, cupping stones, anvil stones. They're all synonymous with one another, but they all have different use cases. So I'll try and blow through those as much as I can. So for these little ones here, so this one I'm not entirely sure. I have a couple theories on this one. I think it could potentially be a navigation rock. I'm not going to explain too much what I mean. It could have been used to make a marble. It could have been used for a plethora of things. It's really hard to say. But I might make a video on this one in particular later on and just kind of delve deeper into that. I have talked about it before, though, if you go back and look at my old artifact video. But this one, I'm not entirely sure what it was used for. It's a very, very small hole. These were basically like workbenches for these people a lot of the time. This is where they would create things a lot of the time. So not sure what that was used for. The one thing I do know about this was they chose this style probably to dig it into the ground or pluck it into the ground. You can even see kind of where it's been in the ground there. So they would have smashed it into the ground and it would have been a perfect little workbench. For what? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure if they got anything out of that either. Here's a smaller one. This is more of like a pestiling kind of activity, potentially for paint or something like that. At first, I thought it was a freaking paw print or something. This one is very interesting. This one has rotary marks in it. You can even see the little pluck where they try to start a hole and they decided to swap to this hole. But you can see the rotary marks on this. This would have been some sort of bow spindle socket. They would have held it up here so that way they didn't have friction on their hands while using a bow spindle to get a fire going. So it's pretty cool. There's a good look at the rotary marks on that. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. This one was more for a mortal pestle, probably. They were probably processing a food or something like that, some sort of nuts or shellfish or something, who knows. But they would have been grinding something here. You can kind of see that just from the sheer size of the hole and the shape of it. Another interesting thing here, like the other one you just saw, you could see a little pluck where they would get the hole started for these pieces. So that's pretty cool. Here's another little one. It's another little fragment A lot of the time you'll get them in fragments like this, small fragments. This one's not a very, I don't think this is, I wasn't entirely sure, honestly. It might not be one, but it might be, because it was found in the same area. Alright, so moving on to some of the more obscure stuff, and then I got some fossils if that interests you guys at the end. If not, don't worry. We're doing the artifacts first, or presumed artifacts, because some of these are pretty interesting. Particularly this piece, and I'll get into that, but this is a hammerstone, I believe. They would have used this to, it's a heavy rock, so they would have used this probably to get started for a flint knap session, for the bigger chunks especially. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. That's how they would have made these pieces right here. They would have gotten started with these, and then they would have swapped to smaller pieces and less weighty pieces like this. This one broke here. Seems that it broke, but there is some interesting markings on this. This was actually found near a lot of this stuff. Pretty much, it was found near these weights, actually, this piece, I believe. You can see different scratch marks on it. There's an interesting, I don't know if it's this piece or another piece, but there was 2 little scratches on it. It was very interesting. It's definitely intentional. But this would have been a great hammerstone if it were whole, but it broke. And then, like I said, they would have used this one to get started. So that's those. Now this piece here, so I had a live stream where I showed off these artifacts, and so I found this near an area where it's very, very prevalent with activity. And when I first found this, it was this side up. So I thought at first that it was a gorget. And just out of sheer curiosity, I decided to still bring it home with me. It's obviously not a gorget. If it were a gorget, it would have 2 holes in it or multiple holes in it. And essentially what a gorget would be is like a pendant or something like that. But I think this might be the start of a gorget. I'm not 100% sure, and I would love some second opinions on it. So if you guys have any second opinions, that would be much appreciated. But I believe this is the start of a gorget, potentially. And they decided not to do it all the way because, I don't know why. But it's found in an area where there's a lot of activity, for one. There's a start of a hole here, and then there's, of course, the start of a hole right there. And then the shape of it would have been perfect. So, I don't know. I thought it might have been the start of a gorget, but I might be crazy. I decided to throw that in there. And then another possibility here. This piece is very, very interesting to me. So this was also found in an area similar to this. In fact, the same area where there is a very high prevalence of ancient activity. And in a sandbar, I found this piece pretty much like, I don't know exactly how far in the sandbar, but it was far in the sand. I mean, probably like at least half an inch or so. Maybe a little less than that, maybe like 4 inches in the sand. But it's a petrified piece of wood. And the interesting thing about this petrified piece of wood is that it has what appears to me to be a drill hole in it. Now, I would love some second opinions on this, but I think that might be a drill hole of some kind. And you can see it's at a 90-degree angle, so it would have been, it's a perfect circle too, perfect little hole. So I don't know if they would use that to tie something down, to weigh something down. At first I thought it was like a shingle to a house or something, or a small shelter, or a canoe. I don't know what the heck it was at first, but I also had someone tell me that they thought it was an insect bore through a piece of wood. So I know it's nothing too crazy, but I've never seen anything like that, and I thought it was very interesting. So I would love some second opinions on that if you guys have any. Would absolutely love some second opinions on that. And then we got 2 little pieces here. These are probably scrapers. You can see the difference here, how it's got the smoothness here. It's like they scraped something. The little scraper, perfect little size for it. Little index finger thumb scraper. You can see, especially right there, you can see where they got it real good to. So they were grinding up something fine with that. It's a little scraper. Same thing with this. Just a little one, little thumb scraper, basically. Yeah, I would love to get some second opinions on that. I'm pretty sure it's nothing. But I don't know. And then we got this little piece. I thought this was a scraper. It's a piece of chert. I thought it was the same material as this, but I'm not 100% sure looking back on it. It was found in the same area. I thought it was just a little flint scraper, and the reason I thought that mainly because there's a little flute right here. What appears to be a little flute right here. So this is in my unsure pile as well. Not really sure if it's anything, but it's found in a prime location. And I thought it was the same as this piece here, but it is not. So moving on. This right here, you might have seen this in one of my recent videos. I thought this was a pipe at first. Not sure if this is a tool of any kind. They did. I was learning that they did actually use fossils as tools and stuff like that, as ornaments and stuff. So I'm not sure if this is man-made or not, this divot, but I don't think it is. I think it's from someone had commented that this was from how it would suck onto the seabed. This is an old piece of coral. It's a fossil. Same with this piece as well. Fossil with a little crystals in it. Same thing with these right here, fossils. So those are the fossils there. Yep. And then this piece right here, I'm not really too entirely sure what this is. I've never seen anything like this. I'm pretty sure this is a fired rock. You can see where it's probably been in a fire here. And then there's something going on here. So this is an artifact of some kind. Oh yeah, and this is the rock that has the two little lines in it. I'm glad I remembered that. Yep, so this is the rock with the two little lines in there. Two little scratch marks, if you guys can see that. So, and then it has this, and what appears to be like, I don't know. I don't know what the heck this thing was used for. Or tried to be used for. I'm really not sure. I would love some second opinions on that as well, you guys. Not sure if it's anything or not. I just thought it was interesting. Especially that. And of course that. But that's pretty much my collection, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, thanks for watching. Started this year. So I'm always looking to learn something new. But from the research that I have gained so far, this is indeed a scraper of some kind, and it is of the Flint Ridge material. Let's take a look at this other Flint Ridge piece. This is probably one of my favorite pieces, if not my favorite piece next to this. I really, really like this piece a lot. But I think this piece is a killer. An absolute killer. Look at that. Look at that workmanship. It's absolutely beautiful. The patina on it. It's still got some dirt on it. Absolutely beautiful piece. The only downside to it is that, of course, the base is broken. That is the only downside to this piece, unfortunately. But another interesting thing about this piece is the fact that it's got some beautiful quartzite crystals in it. I'm not sure what kind of point this exactly is, or if it's, I think it's a spearhead for fishing, for catching fish. I think that's what it was used for. But I have no idea what it is identified as. So if anybody could help me on that. Same with this. I don't know what exactly that is called. All I know is the material of these. So if anyone can help me on identifying these pieces, that would be super, super awesome. And I would really, really appreciate it. I know some of you guys are experts at this stuff. And I am just learning. Those crystals are so beautiful. Like I said, this is by far one of my favorite pieces. It's still super, super sharp. I mean, this thing is crazy well made. And then it's got this little chip right here as well. I really love this piece. I really, really do. Alright, I'll get some pictures, even though you saw an entire video on these pieces. I'll get you guys some pictures of each one. That way, maybe you can get some better looks on them. Very, very old. How old do I think exactly? Well, possibly Paleo period old. How old is Paleo period old? Well, it is between 10,000 to 13,000 years ago. So I believe that this thing is very, very old, but I could be wrong. That's why I need a second opinion. Now, here's a few little details about the piece. It appears that it's made out of some sort of flint. Perhaps Coshocton County flint, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that. As far as material, I'll have to get an identifier on that. But here is an interesting aspect of it. You can see this this part right here. It seems to be some sort of flute on it. And I've never seen a flute with a pattern like that. Very, very odd, if you ask me. So if anybody has any opinions on that as well. I thought that it might be indicative of some sort of bone flute or bone hafting, something like that. I don't know. But another thing to take observation of is the marks along the bladed section here. Along the edge, rather, here. Those appear to be pretty old. And then, of course, the other side, you have the same thing. Another thing worthy of mentioning of this piece is that it is very, very smooth. Very, very smooth. Also, one more thing to mention, of course, is the fluting down here as well. Right here is very, very interesting. Never seen any flute like that either. Very small. So, let me know what you guys think. This is probably one of my favorite pieces, and I'm pretty sure that it might be my oldest piece out of my collection here. So let me know what you guys think. I'll get some pictures at the end of this with all sides and everything, even though you just saw a whole video of it. I'll get some good pictures. Paleo blade. I've seen one very similar to this. Very, very similar to this. This is a super, super nice piece. I'd say this is probably my favorite piece in my collection by far. Yeah, I would say this is probably my favorite piece in my collection. You can see the patina on there. It's got a nice patina to it. Slightly chipped right here. It's a lot thinner right here. The workmanship on this piece is pretty damn good, you guys. Pretty damn good. If you guys know what this is, I would very happily accept any ideas in the comments. I know some of you guys know your stuff, so it would definitely help me out. It would help me out a lot. I'm trying to learn more about what these exactly are, get some actual names, materials, etc. I'm still learning the ropes, you guys, so having your help would really mean a lot. Just take a look at that thing. It's absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. There's my other scraper right there. I got another video on that. I also have a whole video covering my whole collection, but I'm going through piece by piece and kind of trying to get some more insight on them. Yeah. Pretty sure that this is an Adena blade, though. Just let me know, please. I'm looking for answers. I'm looking for answers. Alright, let's get you some pictures of it, some close-up pictures. Even though you just got a whole freaking video of it. God, I love that thing. It's so pretty. So pretty. That is very indicative of it being worked. Another thing is this black coating right here is indicative of what I believe to be a fire of some kind. And I believe they started this fire in order to soften the rock to be able to cut into it like this. Another thing that is indicative of it being worked is these two gashes right here, which now that I'm showing you this, it might start making some more sense to you as to what it is. It is indeed an effigy of what I believe to be a snake. There's the eyeball, and there is the mouth right there. Now, another thing that's indicative of it being worked, and that you might notice it with the features, is that this part right here is in fact smoothed down, polished down. Now, this is for obvious reasons because of the feature of a snake, right? Snakes are flat-nosed, and that looks like what they were trying to do. Now, Gabriel thinks that it could be a turtle as well. I do think it could potentially be a turtle, but I'll explain why I think it's a snake here in a minute. So another thing that is indicative of it being worked, though, real quick, is these little plucks at the top. See these little plucks at the top? Those are also man-made. And I think that these were potentially the start of trying to represent scales, perhaps. There's also another little pluck right here as well, which I think would have been indicative of a nostril of some sort. So there we have our defining features, you guys. I'm going to go back through them again. We have the mouth, the eyeball, and let's dig into why I think this is a snake. So a snake's pupil is vertical, right? A snake's pupil is vertical. So that is what I believe to be a pupil, or attempted to be a pupil. And then this other gash right here, if you take a real close look at it, they began going straight, and then they cut off right here. So they dug in really, really hard right here to try and get it going straight. And then they tried curving it this way. So you notice this line's curved, this one is not. A pupil is not curved. So a vertical pupil would be straight. That is the pupil. And this would be the eye surrounding the pupil. That's why it's trying to curve there. That's why there's another line there. That's why I believe this is a snake effigy, atop of the fact that these people worshipped both snakes and birds as part of their religions. The serpent mound is a perfect example of this, and this was found in Ohio, so those people were here, the Hopewell people and the Adena culture. So that's one thing we got there for it being potentially a snake effigy. Another thing, too, I wanted to mention is that this could potentially be broken. In fact, it's most certainly broken back here, and potentially it might have fragmented here as well, but I believe that this here is sanded down, and this was going to be an attempt at making a mouth over here, because you can see where they tried heating the rock here as well. That black line all around it is how they heated it up, or where they heated it up to soften the stone to be able to cut into it like that. But what I wanted to mention about this was that this is an old break, and the reason you know it's old is because it's very smooth. There are no jagged edges or anything like that. So I think that pretty much covers all the bases that I wanted to cover. I'm sure I'll be covering this piece a lot. I plan on getting this piece authenticated in some way if I can. Hopefully me washing it off didn't mess it up too much, but I did find it in a creek anyways. So, yeah, I think that doesn't matter too much. But there you get another good look at it. And, yeah, you guys, I believe this is an unfinished effigy of a snake. I believe this is an unfinished effigy of a snake, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. And thanks again to Gabriel for showing me this. At first, I thought it was a sharpening stone or something like this, or like that, because this is the only reason that I picked it up was the inside of here. But you can still see the patina in there real good. Alright, you guys. Find of a lifetime, you guys. Find of a lifetime. I found this during last summer. So I've had this thing for a while, and Gabriel put me on game and showed me the face. I hadn't even recognized it when I saw it. It takes, once you see it, you see it. It takes a minute to see it, though. But, oh yeah, another thing, too. It's also smoothed up here as well. Alright, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Much love.